Hello, beautiful people. So this is, I can't remember now, part 7 or 8 of the astrology course for beginners, although you're rapidly not beginners anymore if you have been following this course. And I was going to make the next part about Saturn and Jupiter, and I will definitely do Saturn and Jupiter. But something came up today that I just thought was really interesting and is such an amazing tool for you to use to actually really get to know the planetary energies. So there's two parts of this. There's the story about how I had this sudden realization, that's how people could that's how I've always learned about astrology. That's how I've always done my studying and my training, and that this would be a useful point for you to have that lesson, that teaching as well. So, there's a tractor about to come past. No, it wasn't a tractor, I'm not sure what that is. A giant quad. So I listened to an astrologer called Pam Gregory, and I really like her. She's English, and she has a real connection to the land, but she has an incredible connection to whether you call it 5D reality or higher vibration or new earth consciousness or, like whatever you want to call it. She has a really good understanding and a really good connection with this. And when she talks us her astrology, it's very awake astrology. I really appreciate her. So she's been talking about this planet. I don't know whether it strictly is a planet or an asteroid or a planetoid. I don't really get into that sort of thing. But it's called Ixion, and it lies beyond the orbit of Pluto. So I don't know when Ixion was first discovered, but Pluto was only discovered in 1930, so it's going to be relatively recent. If you Google ephemeris for Ixion, you'll find out where Ixion was at the time that you were born. It moves very slowly, so like everybody, around a 20-year period of when I was born had Ixion in Libra. Anyway, so I looked mine up and it's at 22 degrees Libra, which is like become a significant degree in Libra for me this year. If you watch an astrology episode that I did very recently, it was all about this point of 22 degrees Libra. So when I saw that, I was like, whoa, well, that's interesting. So actually all this astrology that's going on at the moment, not only is it like triggering my sun, but it's also right on my Ixion, my point of where Ixion is. I thought, okay, because if you Google what's Ixion about, you get like a Greek myth of some character that wasn't actually that sort of savoury, do you know what I mean? So that was obviously very much like the underworld of that character, and all planets have underworlds, okay? So this is pretty heavy underworld Ixion, okay? But so there's nothing about like the more transcendent qualities that Ixion might have, and Pam Gregory does talk about them. She's really into Ixion, and she uses words that I understand intellectually and I've probably had some experience of, but they might not be my words, they might not be exactly my experience of it. So I suddenly was like, so I can actually now use this month as a way of getting to understand what Ixion is about, because I can watch my own experiences. I'm being bloody triggered at the moment. My Ixion is being absolutely illuminated, first by Mercury and then by the sun and the moon as well at some point, and Mars as well. It's like my Ixion is just being glowed upon, if you like. And so I'm like, so what am I going through this month? What am I working with? What am I actually doing at a practical level? How am I, like health-wise? Like looking at all these different levels of where I'm at the moment. And then you start to get, like, then when you do that, you start to get a feel for what that planetary energy is about. It's really, really, really nice way of learning astrology, and particularly about the planetary energies. So go and have a look where 22 degrees of Libra is in your chart. Well, look at that first, because that's what's going on this month, and then Google the ephemeris for Ixion and find where Ixion was on the day you were born. Very interesting. So there you go. You've had a little bit of a story about Ixion and how I've got to that, and then how I am using that story. I'm using that information, the technical information, if you like. I'm using the numbers, very much about numbers. I'm using those numbers. I'm looking for when they're triggered and what's triggering them by what, because then that gives me like an astrological interpretation of what it is that I'm actually going through. And then when you see other people's charts, or when you look ahead and you see something is going to happen, then because it's a dated thing, and then you can think for yourself, okay, I've had a bit of an experience of this before, and how was it for me then, and how do I want it to be next time? How could I raise it to a higher vibration? That is the beauty of astrology. The beauty of astrology. That you can look ahead and see what opportunities you have coming to actually have an experience and to raise your vibration at that level. It's really nice. Love you all and talk to you soon. Bye.